right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to hear from another local piano tuner who can fix a piano seemingly broken beyond repair. Stay with us. This is Nashville. I'm Kaliole Kulona, and this is Nashville. Our next guest is Jonathan Rizzo. He tunes, cleans, and repairs and renovates pianos. He's the guy you call when you tune a piano and also when the rope breaks just as the movers are trying to get your piano through the second floor window. Jonathan, welcome to This is Nashville, my friend.
Thank you, Khalil. What an honor. What a pleasure to be here. Gosh, I think you nailed it. Yeah. Do you mind if I start by talking about how we met?
Yeah,
before?
Go for it.
Is that okay? I'm a longtime listener here, and so it is an honor. I had, Says You, the show Says You. I had the app for the longest time. I'm a big fan. But I want to tell everybody, just your audience, Khalil and I met at a nonprofit event with, there were some fellow Italian reporters there. It was supporting the homeless community. So thank you so much. Mm-hmm. And I found out it was with the Beat in Madison, Darren Bradbury there.
Yes.
The thing is, I found out what an incredibly talented musician you are. I want your audience to know that as talented as you are as a reporter, I think you're even more talented as a musician and performer. So they deserve to see that side, to experience that side at some point.
I hope to at this time after, Thursday's my last show. And I'm planning on getting this album done and out. So people will be on the lookout for Pope Yes, Yes, Y'all. And I thank you for that. It was a lot of fun. I know there was a lot of surprise faces. Like the NPR dude is rapping well. What?
And killed it. Oh, man. Jeez.
That's awesome.
And supporting a great cause, and if we can shout out Open Table Nashville for donations, maybe if people want, and Judy Tackett and the WPLN show In My Place if they want to learn more about supporting the homeless.
Yes, indeed.
Helping out.
Okay, so we've been talking about piano tuning and piano tuners. What causes a piano to go out of tune? How does that work? Yeah, so
pianos are, they're wood and metal, steel, strings, iron, cast iron plate, and a lot of wood. So humidity and temperature changes are the biggest factors in affecting the tuning stability. So in the winter it gets very dry, and the wood loses the moisture, and it compresses maybe a little bit. With the strings, it allows them to go a little flatter, and then I guess that's in the winter. And then in the summer, it gets more humid, and the wood soaks up the moisture in the environment, and it stretches out, and you get a sharper piano. So it's our job, as you spoke with my colleagues here earlier, we go around and just keep them in tune all year long, so so people can enjoy them and play at their best.
So there's no busy season. You're just constantly working.
Yeah. A lot of times it's just steady. We try and set people up on a regular schedule so that they can mitigate those changes, but try not to push people into it, but it's up to them.
Now you are more than just a tuner. You're a technician. I understand you began fixing your own bassoon in high school because the woodwind repair people were hard to find. And so between that and your time in college working in Boston at the Rayburn Music as a repair technician, you had a lot of experience when you moved here to Nashville. But at the time, there wasn't a lot of woodwind tech work going around here. You couldn't find that on LinkedIn or anything. How did you find your way back to instrument repair after taking a little bit of a career detour?
Yeah, well, it was, I had a great experience in Boston. I apprenticed under the world's greatest saxophone repair technician, Emilio Lyons, and I fixed 3,000 clarinets for the Rayburn there. And I fell into the piano business, to be honest. I got my daughter a free piano on Facebook. They wanted $100, but it was, a bunch of notes didn't work, and it was a 1903 King upright, a very old, 120-year-old piano at this point. And I took it home and I took it all apart and I replaced a lot of springs. I cleaned it. I did all this stuff. And, in my family, we all tune our own pianos. My grandpa came over on a boat from Italy and with his accordion, he was tuning his piano. My dad tunes his. My uncle was a music teacher in New York. He tunes for, the churches and his students and things. And so I said, I didn't really think much of it. And I just started tuning mine for my daughter. I fixed it up and, I put a bow on it for her and she loved it. And then her teacher, Dr. Marcian Bella, he said, he said, I have this Steinway and this $2 million house on the West End, and it just won't play a note. He recorded a video on it. He pushed the keys down. It won't play. And he said, would you mind taking a look at it? I think you'd be good at it. I said, okay. And sure enough, I get to the piano, and I had not really worked on many grand pianos before. So I opened up, I cleaned it. It looked like there had been construction debris or something in it. And I got it working. I got it playing and tuned it. And he was so impressed. He said, would you mind tuning all my students' pianos? I said, okay.
There you go.
I made a website. Google started sending me calls. I do Tennessee State University now, all their pianos. I do Austin Peay State University. I do W.O. Smith's old piano in the Jefferson Street Sound Museum.
Okay.
And all the Nashville Public Schools were the vendor for them. And then a lot of the stars' homes.
So I can imagine that your grandfather did it, your dad did it, you do it. I'm sure other family members do. I wonder what a family gathering Christmas is like. Someone's like, oh, Johnny's piano's not working. Like, we'll tune it ourselves. Don't call someone out.
Yeah, well, it's funny. I tuned the two of them when I was back home this weekend for Easter. And my grandpa's 92nd birthday, and we all play different instruments. So, he got his accordion, he's playing. My dad plays a guitar. My uncle plays the bass. I had to sing. I'm not much of a singer, but somebody had to do it. We just laugh and sing and play, and we always have a great time. So old Italian songs. I grew up playing in our family's Italian wedding band. That's Anyways,
that's really wonderful. Now I want to switch the topic a little bit to electric pianos. I mean, they don't need tuning, but they do need maintenance and repair. But it's just as hard as it is to find people to work on your bassoon when you were in high school. It's hard now to find people who do work on electric pianos. You're one of those folks. How did you decide to take on a job that no one else would want to touch necessarily?
Yeah, I'll tell you a little bit about a brief window into the industry and how I started expanding into the Fender Rhodes electric pianos and Farfisa organs and things like that. So one of my customers, Gabe Simon, owns Simon Says Studios. He did Dua Lipa's one of her first albums. He does a lot. He's a songwriter, producer, and I fixed his piano. I made a custom soft bar for him and his piano to the new sound in East Nashville. His soft piano sounds beautiful.
Okay. Is that like Yacht Rock's piano?
Well, no. It's you put a piece of felt that drops in front of the hammers, so it's just got this beautiful tone all of a sudden. Mm-hmm. It's more of a classical tone, to be honest. Okay. But it just blends so well in Americana, and he has this. It's an older piano, but it's got this vibe, this mojo. It's wonderful. And so I said, I tuned it for him, and he said, I'd like to play better, so I made it play better. And then one day he said, would you mind taking a look at my Fender Rhodes over here? And I said, well, I don't really do those too much. He said, please, you did such a great job on the piano. Would you mind just take a look at it and see what you could do? I said, okay. I took it with me and I cleaned it. I did this miracle mod they do to make it play better, the action. I cleaned up the electronics a little bit. And I brought it back to him, and he was so impressed. He said, do you mind if I share your number with my friend? And I said, okay. And he's got another Fender Rhodes. And so Dan Ballard owns, Gold Pacific Studios. Everybody's been there and played there. And so I go over to his. On the way home, I didn't even make it back to my house. Wow. And he said, can you come pick mine up? I said, all right. And I do his. And then all of a sudden, he says, I'm still working on his. He said, you don't mind if I send your number to another guy? I said, okay. And so all of a sudden I get a call from Liam O'Neill, and I go meet him, and he said, oh yeah, this is our place. I said, whose place is that? He said, oh yeah, Kings of Leon. I said, okay. That's nice. They're headlining the Pilgrimage Music Festival coming up with John Mayer. And he said, would you mind fixing my Fender Rhodes too? I said, gosh, all right. But Dan asked me to do the re-Tolex, the outside is basically reupholstering the vinyl covering, the old vinyl that's always beat up. And I didn't really, he said, do you know anybody who does it? And I said, gosh, not really, not off the top of my head.
So you started doing it.
Yeah, I said, well, somebody's got to do it.
Okay.
So sure. And I'll tell you, I should show you pictures. It came out factory perfect. This thing was beautiful. It took a lot of time, but so that's how it kind of works. And you just, like your previous guests were saying, you meet people, they send your number to somebody else, and you get these special moments with people. Another one, Philip Sweet from Little Big Town. Mm-hmm. I go to his house, and he's got all these Grammys and CMA awards I don't even know. It was Golden Globe, I think. He's got 1 million on his wall. Lionel Richie's platinum records. He's 1 million platinum records he's been on. And so I tune his piano, and then we're hanging out all of a sudden. Our daughters take lessons from the same teacher.
Okay.
So we're hanging out. He starts playing, and he goes in his rock voice, give me the beat, boys, and free my soul. And I'm singing the backups, and clapping, drift away, trying to drift I try to do my rock voice. I'm not as like him, but we get these amazing moments, really special moments with some really amazing people in this business.
I imagine each project takes a little bit of time for it. What's the difference between taking you showed me a picture of, before we started, you showed me a picture of one of Jackie Gleason's old piano that you worked on this morning, which is classic and wonderful. But you also showed me a picture of a piano that got destroyed by movers.
I swear these movers keep me in business.
Hey, that's good. Yeah. When you come up to a piano and it's got the bottom half ripped off, what are your thoughts? How long does a project like that take?
That one that I showed a picture, the bottom, the movers, they drop pianos. It happens. It's unfortunate. But this happened, I try to tell people it'll be, you may want to just get a new piano. But that for this customer, it was his grandmother's piano. So there's no other piano for this guy. He said, I want that piano. And it's not worth the money sometimes to put it, but the sentimental value is 100% worth it. Yeah. So I say it's going to be 4 days. I have to tilt the piano its back to fix the broken legs and put the bottom back on, reattach. I have to really do a better job than, in this case, the manufacturers did. I have to drill and add dowels so it's really strong. Because the pedals take a lot of force. But yeah, that's going to be probably a 4-day job, for 4 working days. So
that's not very long. I thought you were about to say 4 months.
No, I try to work very quickly for my customers. It's just I have so many customers, 650 active customers right now. I just hired another employee last week. But yeah, a piano like that. So it's 4 days over maybe a month or so. And the first day, there's 6 hammers that are broken off. So I have to reattach those and glue them. And I give it 24 hours clamping them to make sure that the glue is cured well. And it can take the beating that piano hammers have to take. Same thing with the rest of the piano. So I have to work in stages. And then finally is the tuning, the cleaning, and then the tuning. And then fine tuning, obviously. So yeah, it's a process, but as long as I try to think through it, and I have to work, you can't just only focus on that customer. I have to go to, Jackie Gleason's this morning, another dropped piano. And so I'm drilling, reattaching, doweling, and then gluing and waiting. And then this piano though, it's funny, it's called a Tom Thumb piano. And imagine Jackie Gleason, big guy from the Honeymooners, he's playing this little tiny piano that's just barely bigger than the bench and waist high. Wow. It's just a funny image of him, imagine him playing that thing. So
I've got about 30 seconds left. You mentioned that you come from this line of musicians, and you talked about your daughter.
Oh yeah.
Are you planning to teach your daughter things about tuning? Very briefly.
Yes, my daughter is amazing. Valentina, I love you. My brother's an opera singer. My dad is we're all players, but yeah, my daughter is taking music lessons, and hopefully she'll learn to tune. I said in college, you're going to appreciate it when you don't have to work as a barista someday.
That's right.
But if she wants it, that's fine. But she's such a smart kid. She's doing very well. So I know she has a bright future wherever it leads her.
It's been great having you here. Jonathan Rizzo is the owner of American Piano Tuning. Thanks for being with us today, and thanks for blowing up my spot as well.
I can't wait to see more of your work. Come on, Khalil.
It's going to be great.
Jeez, what a pleasure and an honor. Thank you.
The honor's all mine, my friend. And thanks to you all for tuning in this hour. This is Nashville. It's a production of Nashville Public Radio. Today's episode was produced by Justin Varney and Mary Mancini. It was directed by Tasha A.F. Lemley. Our board operator is Liv Lombardi. The masterminds behind our theme music are LaRange and Namir Blade. You can listen back at thisisnashville.org or wherever you get good podcasts. And the conversation does not end here. Comment and tell us what you want to hear on the show by leaving us a message, 615-751-2500. You can also hit us up on the socials, Blue Sky, Instagram, and X at This Is Nashville. This is Nashville. I'm Khalil Ekolona. We'll see you tomorrow, everybody, and be good to each other.
This is 90.3 WPLN,
Nashville Public Radio,
91.5 WTML Tullahoma,
and 91.7 WHRS Cookeville.
WPLN.org is where you can find more from WPLN News, including the Nash Villager, your human-powered newsletter and podcast, exploring Nashville news and history. Subscribe to both at WPLN.org.